Can you hear me now? You can't hear me. Can you hear me now? Oh my God. Okay, yeah, I just saw my audio was X'd out. It's probably because of my my AirPods. Thank you for telling me. I've been talking for 6 minutes. Um, I did. Hopefully, what I was saying got conveyed through my personality. This is great. I'm so glad you're here. You told me you can't hear anything. Where do I even start now? Okay. Completely reset. Yeah, that was all me. Thank you, Anna and Jason and Brielle. All right, in that case, I'm just gonna start at the beginning. So, wow, I don't even know where to start. Hang on, I need a minute to compose myself. Okay. Thank you all for being here. Welcome to this live. I, uh, I basically have an announcement. It's like it's an announcement, but that makes it sound almost bigger than it is, but I'm also excited about it. Basically, I've done a little bit of rework with the HART Studio and the initial sessions coming up. So I wanted to share that. I have written a post. I think at this point I'm just going to follow my post because I'm still so amused that that happened. Wow. Um so this is what I'm going to do. All right. HART Studio. So basically, I have something that I'm really excited to share. It's called the HART Builder Starter Pack. It basically refers to the first 5 sessions of the HART Studio. One thing I realized as I was starting this is in case you're less familiar with the HART Studio, um, I wanted to share a little bit about what that is. And that's what I was talking on and on about. So luckily, I was only talking about the HART Studio, and I didn't really get to the big part of what I was saying. So that's okay. All right. In case you oh gosh, it's just all coming back to me, all the things that I said before, and I'm debating whether to say it again. More or less what the HART Studio is it's a community where people can build with AI together. You don't need previous technical experience. It's just a place for ordinary people to learn technical skills with others without wondering if you have to, like, without wondering if you belong. And the heartbeat of the studio is really real-time build sessions that happen over Zoom. And we can interact with each other face to face as human beings. And then at the end of each session, the goal is to walk out with something that you can say you've built. I mentioned that I launched this studio 7 weeks ago. Our first build sessions are actually happening this week, and that was by intention. So I also mentioned back in the silent times that I come from a social psychology background, and I think a lot about what it means to create a community, to create a group of people together. There's research that shows that when you bring a diverse group together, people with many different experiences, ways of being, ways of working, it can be magic. And you can have these amazing outcomes with people who are coming from different backgrounds. That only happens if you have trust and safety. So for me, I really wanted to give us time, all of us, including myself, to sort of get to know the HART Studio and what this is, and to focus on that community building before we just jump right into the build. So the idea is, there's so much hype right now around AI. It just feels like it's moving so fast. That it's all about hyper productivity and individual optimization. And I purposely just wanted to, I was going to say slam on the brakes, but even that just sounds so harsh. It's just like, I just wanted to take a breath and like sit and be and just like feel like the space can breathe. So I intentionally put out the first build sessions too. I guess it's 2 months out. It looks different when you're looking at the calendar, but 2 months out. And what we've done since then is meet and greets, just get on a call and talk to each other and get to know each other. I will share that the first meet and greet that we had was incredible. You're bringing people together. Some of us knew each other, some of us didn't, and just immediately in the room, we're not trying to perform in front of each other. We're not trying to pretend that we know what we're talking about. Like, people were openly saying, this feels really daunting. Like, everyone talking here about what they're doing, I feel really daunted by it. Like, I feel imposter syndrome. And then to immediately have somebody say, I feel that too. I hear you talking and I'm like, wow, I can't believe you do all that stuff. Like, I'm just getting chills now thinking about it. It was just so beautiful to have already immediately that feeling. Hi, Anna, welcome. And then after that, the other thing that I wanted to set up was technical setup sessions. So the idea, like I said, for these build sessions is that we just jump right in and we start to build something. So part of it is it's really easy to have this paralysis of like, I need to know more stuff. I need to talk to my AI about everything. I need to plan, plan, plan. And there's, I mean, certainly lots of times where you should do that. The AI can go rogue, da da da. But for the HART Studio, I wanted to create a space where people could feel like just get past that paralysis. Just jump in, start building something. Don't be precious about it. And then when we do it with other people, we can immediately see what other people are building and get feedback and get ideas. And um, so that's what I wanted to kind of like create. It's almost like accountability, honestly, to say like, here's a space where just like start building something and come out and let's see what you have. The other thing is I just like to have a lot of fun. And I feel like I have a lot of fun with my AI, like sitting there all by myself. We go back and forth. I even have fun yelling at my AI. So even when I'm frustrated, I'm having fun. So there's just something about being able to do it with the other person too. And I know I'm in a lot of spaces with AI, and oftentimes they just feel kind of like at work, for example, where there's like fears around what AI means and like, am I doing a good job? And like there's performance evaluations as part of it. It's harder sometimes to feel like you can have fun. So I wanted to create this space where we could do that. Brielle, where are you building? So we're going to be doing this on Zoom. So like live real-time sessions on Zoom, because of course we're all remote. That's where we're doing it. Um, I'm just reading the chat. So Jason's saying, I need a course on yelling at my AI. Jason, is that a course on how to yell at your AI or how to better yell at your AI or how to not yell at your AI? And then Anna, HART Studio sounds like HART Studio. I love it. Challenges. Yeah. So yeah, I think things that are difficult, but also just like to make it fun. Oh, Brielle, what platform, Claude? Oh, okay. Yes. So Brielle, that's a great question. For the most part, we're going to be building in Claude Code. We'll be using GitHub. Part of the starter pack is that we're actually going to explore putting your project up, like hosting it on a platform and deciding between Vercel or Cloudflare. And that's where like, I love the co-creativeness of a group where I'm curious if the group has a preference. I've done it on both, so we could kind of explore either. And then Supabase is what we'd be using for our database management. Again, I'll go over more details of exactly what these pieces are in there. That being said, so I mentioned Claude Code, but you can use kind of any platform. Some people have built with Claude. Codex is getting better. I don't use OpenAI stuff anymore as much, but that's what I've heard. We've had folks I've used Gemini CLI. I hear that that's being deprecated, maybe to go towards anti-gravity, which are all the Google products. But I will be mostly doing examples and demos in Claude Code, but I love the idea of people testing out different platforms and seeing how they compare. Jason, how to yell. Yes, good. Okay, my problem with these lives is that I always end up going everywhere. I mean, that's also, I think, a feature of doing a live, but now that I've done a little preamble, let me get into what I wanted to share. So let me see. Oh, Cursor, Anna. People use Cursor. I've never done it. Yeah, I've used Cursor also. I started in Cursor when I started doing more of the vibe coding stuff. So part of my background is, I mentioned I'm a social psychologist. I'm also a data scientist. I actually learned how to code to do statistical analysis in grad school. Very lucky. I was the first cohort that did that. So I mean, just like talk about right moment, right time. So I've been coding a long time. And then, yeah, I used Cursor first. I hate it. I don't like Cursor. I feel like stuck inside of Cursor. I don't like reading what the AI is telling me in Cursor. I was very reluctant for a long time to let the AI, this is not just Cursor, but in general, write code for me. I was very much in the camp of like, no, I want to make sure it's not writing things wrong. I need to know everything. But oh my gosh, it's so hard to do that now that AI can write it so fast. So I've switched then. That was also when I just started to realize how much you don't really need technical experience to at least get started. Hi, Steve. That you can go such a long way with just your AI. That being said, this is also why I can't remember. See, I can't remember now if I mentioned this now or in the time that I was on mute. But one reason why I wanted to create the HART Studio is because I started to see this need for having a human expert in the loop to help people level up their technical skills. So that is so yeah, so that like you can use AI for such a long way vibe coding wise, but if you're starting to get to that point where you're like, I want to know what the AI is doing. When it's spitting out all this code, I want to have a better idea of what it's writing. Or like when it's not doing what I tell it to do and I'm telling it over and over again, and I'm trying to be so clear and it's not doing it. How can I like get in there and see where's the issue and what question should I ask you and what should I look out for? I want to help. I have experience doing that and I want to help people do that. The other thing is, the other gap I was seeing is that so many technical resources, courses are so focused on the technical details. It's all about just like how do the bones work and how do the wire, the connections in between work. And I just feel like there's very little focus on what it's like as a human to learn those things. Like what are the questions that a human comes up with when they see something and how do they ask it and how do you make a connection between it. Anna and I actually were just talking about this. Anna Bibico, she just wrote some great work on it, so you should definitely check this out. She's in spaces where people are talking about AI and in technical spaces, and she's so good at seeing the human in those conversations. So that's what the HART Studio is for, is to say, you want to learn technical stuff. You don't have to be a technical person to learn technical stuff. We can do it together. And that's what the HART Studio is. Okay, let's see. Where else am I going? I also have to check how long I'm going to stay here for because I should get my other things done too. Okay. It's been 7 weeks since the launch of the HART Studio. Oh, I do have to say that this is just the beginning of literally the beginning of my post. This is like my second line, but like it is truly incredible to be in person with another person. And I mean, I'm talking about on Zoom, but like just the energy is so different getting to see another person face to face. And actually I have several people in the chat right now who are here that are HART builders and have joined the first sessions. And I don't know about you all, but I just feel it's just incredible. I can't stop grinning when I'm in these sessions just from the start because one, it's just become so clear how important the human is and that AI can't replicate that feeling whatsoever. We just talk about random stuff at the same time as we start talking about building things. I mean, it's just, I can't explain it. You have to join the HART Studio to experience it for yourself, but it is truly incredible. Okay, so like I mentioned, the first HART Build session start this week. Oh yeah, I went on a long ramble. I basically was saying one reason why I started them now, 2 months out, is community building. We had meet and greet sessions. And again, I can't remember now if I talked about that. It's fine. For people who just joined, I was like completely muted for the first 6 minutes of this live. So I can't remember what I said before than now. But we did meet and greets to focus on community, to help us just get to know each other. The second thing is tech setup sessions so that we can get our tech setup out of the way. We got Cloud Code connected into GitHub. Brielle, for example, like if you were to join, people who haven't joined, I will work with you to make sure you get your setup together. We also have videos now that will walk you through it like real time, what it looks like to set this stuff up. I also have tutorials that I've written and been posting on the HART Studio newsletter. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that those things were set up so that when we start these build sessions, we can just jump in. And the thing is, they will also not be smooth. Nothing with building is smooth. That is the whole point. That's why we want to do it together in person so that like when we see these random little things that go wrong, one, we all realize it's completely normal. That is the builder developer's life, is just fixing bugs and things going wrong. And two, just because it'll be more fun to go through it that way. So the first HART Build session start this week. I had planned out the first 5 sessions, and I planned them out in such a way to help with basically onboarding. And actually, I will talk about this more as I go through each one. But I realized that like the first 5 really hang together very well. And so now I'm going to call them as a set altogether, the HART Builder Starter Pack. So the idea is that if you go through these 5 sessions, you'll basically go through every step of creating and launching a project. So creating it with code, getting it under version control. So basically making sure you can track changes to your code, and then launching it, making it live through a hosting platform. And then there's an added bonus of a database, because I'm a data scientist. There's lots of projects where it's really helpful to have a database, a place where you can store data and serve it through your site attached. So that's part of this too. Okay. Right. Okay. So like I said, I wrote a post. I'm going to be sharing this after this live, whenever I can process it and add this video to it. So first, just to give you a sense of what actually, you know what? I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that after, what regular build sessions look like. I'm going to talk about these HART Builder Starter Pack sessions. So basically, the first 2 sessions that I started with were focused on the typical builder development cycle. What that means is you first create a change in the code. Next, you track that change with version control or GitHub. Hi, John, welcome. And then you basically merge that change into your live site so that it can now be available for anyone to see. The version control piece, which I'll explain very briefly, is your safeguard against AI deleting everything that you've created or changing everything you've created. So you hear these horror stories, right? Where like your AI just like wiped out your 6 months worth of code. That is a nightmare. Version control helps you take care of this. It's these save points that are in a very particular standard. It's been used everywhere by all the engineers. And under GitHub, and Git is what it's called. Either way, and so like this is just your safeguard against making sure your code is safe. It's also your way of doing this, like you have your code live out there running for everyone to see, and then you're able to make changes off of that safely, and you can do whatever you want. You can accidentally break things, you can fix it, and then have a way to bring it back into your live site. These are the details that we will go over in the HART Studio. So if you don't know what this means, if you're hearing me talk and you're starting to feel like heart palpitations that like, I don't know what that means, don't worry. That is why the HART Studio exists, so that we can talk about these things and learn about them together and use them and feel confident that we know how to use them. Okay, so the first 2 sessions are actually just practicing that skill over and over again. So basically, I have a project that I've already created end to end. It works, it's live, and what we're going to do is connect into it. Basically, every person's going to make like a copy of that code, make a change, and then track it under version control, and then push it back out to the real site. And I have a couple different examples of what this looks like already that I published, but we're spending 2 sessions on just that process. Very simple changes. It literally looks like putting a background image on a web page. And the reason why it's that simple is so that you can just focus on the muscle memory of going through that development process. Write a code change, tell GitHub to track that change, make a request to review it against the main site, and push it in. And we're just going to do that a few times for 2 sessions. The idea here is that this is like the most basic building block when it comes to building code. And this is the development cycle that engineers are doing all day long without thinking twice about it. So my hope is that by spending these 2 sessions on these reps, is that the process will just feel boring and normal by the end of it. All right, I'm getting some questions in the chat. Brielle, awesome. Is it mainly product building, or will we dive into automations agents as well? Thank you for asking. Yes, all of the above. So like the focus is mainly on this product building piece. I do want to be able to have us do things like automations and agents. That's very top of mind for me. One thing is I'm actually going to be changing slightly the format of the HART Studio, where we're going to have these like build and share sessions that look a lot like what I'm describing here. These sort of like do a build once in the session, and like it's sort of a pop in, pop out is how I sort of think about it. I actually also think of it a little bit like classes that you take at a yoga studio or a gym. It's just like you come in, you do your thing, you sort of do new skills maybe in that one time, and you come out. But what I'm going to start adding are actually standalone workshops. So, I mean, I can imagine, for example, agents going either way, but I want to have these standalone workshops. So here's here's what I realized as I was building this. I was focusing on these like build and share build sessions, these like one and done, get in and get out. As we just, I mean, even in the last 7 weeks, interacting with folks that have joined the HART Studio, I realized that I have these very two clear purposes. One is just to build together and get in there and just like, again, like I said, get over that paralysis of like, I can't start, just do it. Let's build these small prototypes. But then the other piece is I did want to have a way to like deep dive learning new skills, technical skills, things like explore agents and just feel like you have the time to do that in that more workshop style. So now that's why I'm kind of splitting out those two things. So like I said, answer is basically yes. I'm hoping that we're going to be able to, like, agents is top of mind for me as like a next thing. Like maybe that would be what the first workshop is on. Full disclosure, I still feel like I'm like, have I built an agent or not? I don't know. And I want to do a plug for Caro and Diraj. If you don't know them, you absolutely should. They are huge in this AI space that we've been working in. They, sorry, now I'm trying to remember what their, Caro's, I only remember PI. Anyway, if anybody remembers and wants to put it in there, they can. But anyway, Caro and Diraj just wrote an amazing post on what's the difference between skills and agents and how to set them up. And so I know I want to go back and look through that. So that could be a fun thing actually to do in the HART Studio is like we basically take seeds like that post and we're like, let's walk through this together and see what it's like. And we can fit that in a build and share session, or we can do a full workshop on it. That's my plan. Okay, so coming back to the Builder Starter Pack, the first two sessions are just going to be on getting your reps in for doing the basic development cycle. Oh my gosh, okay, I want to kind of do it. Can I do a small demo of what that looks like? I don't know, should I? I will. I haven't done it. I haven't done a screen share on this before. But basically the project that I created that we're gonna work within is something called Open Room. And so those of you who followed me before, you've seen this before. You also know that, so I created this process, I created this project specifically for the goal of helping walk people through what it's like to build with AI. And again, doing those kind of reps of like that development cycle. To test this out, because I did a workshop on this, to test this out before that workshop, I actually ran my mother and my 8-year-old daughter through the process. And it was really fun. I wrote a post on it. I recorded it on video so that you can actually see us doing it live. That process is basically what we're going to walk through and do together in these first two sessions of the HART Studio. I've already talked about it, so now I have to show it. This is basically what it looks like. So this is what I coded up with Claude Code. Let me make this bigger, I think. Okay. And basically it's just like a set of tiles. It's called Open Room. And the idea is it's almost like a social media like space where you can have your own space in this room. So what you do in here is, and each of these is like a little room that people have built. So one example is, this is a common room. I've hidden little like surprises in here under hotspots. So like, welcome to the room and what the process is like. I think, is there one here? There's like a little onboarding page, which actually is not the one I wanted, but that's okay. There's a registry here. So it shows like all the rooms that are in Open Room. And then you can go back out to the main floor. And then in here, this is what we're going to set up, is that you're going to end up in the first two sessions of the HART Studio, you're going to create these rooms. So the first thing we're going to actually do is just put a background image onto the room. So that's where it's like, you're going to reserve a tile. You're just going to do that as a user. And then with Claude Code, this is literally the process. I set this up. I'm really proud of it. Is you go to Claude Code, you give it actually the repo link, and you say, here's this repo. I want to create a room. Read the Claude MD. Go. And then Claude Code, what I've done is I've created a skill inside of that repo where it'll walk Claude Code through how to walk you through building this room. So Claude Code will be like, tell me your GitHub username, user. And you'll be like, here's my GitHub username. And it'll be like, let me go look up your reservation for you. And it'll go and find your room. And it'll be like, what would you like to do? Would you like to add a background image? And you'll be like, yes, I would. Thank you. And so you give it an image. Then you commit it. That's a Git term. So you basically track the change. You push it back up. Anyway, we'll go through all those details, but you basically, Claude Code will just ask you questions. You just answer them. I'll explain what's happening in the background, and then we'll push this. And then by the end of the first session, my hope is we'll be able to make your image live, and then you'll be able to go to this site, click on it, and you can see your image. And then for the next session, my plan is that we'll add things like hotspots. So in these hotspots, for example, I added these other pages. These are some of my favorite people on Substack. You may recognize them. There's Kim Doyle, Natalie Nicholson, Miranda, who's my bestie at work. She actually just left for another job, which is so sad. Caitlin McCall and Rebecca Spitzer. And these are all amazing, incredible builders. You should follow them. This was a funny example too, where I tried to put their images on top of these faces, did not work. So that nice things to learn and try to fix later. Let me show you this one too, is I made a little gallery wall of like my drawings here, and also a little link out to be able to read about it on Substack. If you're interested, and actually here, can I share this in the chat? Yeah, I can, cool. Is go through this and click around. It's amazing. This is my daughter's room, my 8-year-old. She picked out this image and I worked with her to push this up. My mom, like I said, my mom did this. She loves tennis. She's been beside herself watching Wimbledon. She was very proud to say she watched 100% of the ESPN coverage. But she did that. She put an image on there of Andy Roddick. He has a podcast over here that she loves. Anyway, this is what we're going to do together. So we're going to learn how to build with AI, and we're going to have fun while we do it. Let me come back and tell you about the last 3 sessions of this Builder Starter Pack. I'm also going to make sure I don't accidentally... Oh my God, and I do not want to end this live video. How do I stop sharing? Okay, there we go. Whew. Whew, that was a close one. I was really worried I was just going to kill the feed. All right. Those are the first 2 sessions. It is going to be so much fun. I just had so much fun just telling you about this. Like, it's going to be great. The 3rd session, okay, so then I started thinking, all right, that's cool. I don't want people to only be building an open room. I mean, I would love that, but we all have our own projects. We have all our own things to do. By the way, shout out to Jason, because he gave me early feedback on this, where he actually asked that question, like, is everyone just going to be building an open room? And I was like, no, that's a good point. I'll be clearer on that. So thank you, Jason, for that early feedback. So the 3rd session is actually, you're going to make your own project. So you're going to come in with an idea, keep it super simple, because again, we want to try to fit this into an hour, but bring in a simple idea. We're going to try and build a minimum viable product, minimum viable version then and there. The point being, I want you to create code and then turn it into a repo. So if you come in with your own stuff, that's totally fine. And if you know what you're doing, that's totally fine. But if you want to like just really see it from the beginning, like I'm literally sitting down to create a project and now what do? We're going to try and do that within that hour. And then we're going to turn it into a repo. And there I'll share things like best practices for thinking about how to create a repo safely. What are the things you want to set up? The biggest thing I'll just share is that git ignore. That is your best friend. Make sure you set that up. That basically says what files to track or not track in changes. There's some files you do not want to track. So we'll talk more about those details then. And then the last 2 sessions, I called this, It's Alive, Bringing Your Project to Life, in the article that I'll share later, sessions 4 and 5. So after you've built your project, that's well and good. Maybe it's just for you. Awesome. I have so many projects that just live on my computer for me. But the fun of this and the sort of value of this is being able to build something that other people can see and use. So the last 2 sessions are around, first, session 4, hosting your project on a platform. So how do we actually get it onto a platform where then people can see it? Free platforms. So Vercel, like I mentioned, Cloudflare. I've used Vercel. Vercel, I think, is easier to use than Cloudflare, but Cloudflare has a lot more like, I was going to say stronger features, but just, it has more features to it. I'm currently now switching all my things over to Cloudflare. That's session 4. Sorry, something just dropped in my room, but it's fine. So we're going to do that. And then the last session will be on connecting in a database using Supabase. So I honestly don't know how exactly those sessions will look. I am literally planning on us saying like, hi AI, I now want to put this project on Vercel. How do I do that? And then we're going to walk through that together. I will definitely plan to walk through it myself beforehand, before walking through it with you all, but that is the plan. Oh, that's actually a good point. So in general, the way I plan for these sessions to go, because of course, like I said, the beauty of this is bringing many people together in the room. That being said, The challenge of it is bringing many people together in the room because we'll have different experiences. We'll have different places that we get hung up. And we have different places where we're going to move fast. And so my plan is always in general. I mean, just first start with like an opener chat. I like, just kind of getting into the space together. And then likely what I'll do is do a walkthrough first, like a demo, and just almost kind of end to end with, if there's interruptions, that's fine, but a little bit just so we can get through the whole thing and everyone can see it. And then there'll be like an open build time where it's just kind of open. If people feel like they're good to go and can just run with what they're doing, they can do that. Again, all in the same room in Zoom. We're just going to hang out there together. And if people are feeling stuck, then we'll kind of work more one-on-one. And then there's lots of ways we can do it. We can all just hang out in that room together. We can go into breakout rooms. So even in one of the tech setup sessions, 2 HART builders were like, can we just go to breakout room and like talk to each other about the things we're working on? Yeah, sure. So we sent them off into a breakout room and it was amazing. It turned out they were both designers and they did not know that. And they learned about that with each other. It was honestly really amazing. So yeah, I am I used to be a perfectionist. I still have those tendencies. I used to want to control things. Now, and especially with the HART Studio, I just want to see what happens. I want to set up a structure for us. I think I've set up a lot of structure for us, but within that, I want to play. Okay, let's see, what is next? Literally my next section is called What's Next. Fantastic. What's next? So, like I said, okay, so those first 5 sessions, okay, wait, hang on. Is it? All right, hang on. Oh, is it back? I did just click on something. Can I just get another confirmation that it's back? Waiting. Good. Okay. Whew, thank you. Zoom popped up for me with like a note-taking tool is here. So, okay. Well, I don't know where we were in an in-between point, so that was fine. What's next? Right. Okay. So like I said, the first 5 sessions are those, and they're going to make up together this Builder Starter Pack. I don't know if I'm going to offer the Builder Starter Pack in this form again anytime soon. I don't have it planned. So it's just to say, but the video recordings will be there. So that's just to say, if you are not sure you want to join the HART Studio, which is perfectly fine, there are ways that you'll be able to get access to this stuff later if you were to decide to join. I will probably also, honestly, I have no idea, I'm making this up as I go along, like share little bits and pieces of it outside. But basically, the Builder Starter Pack as it looks now, if you want to do it in a live setting, this is the best time to join because we're literally going to kick it off come Friday. After the Builder Starter Pack, so I want to share this because it's a slight difference from what I originally was planning. After the Builder Starter Pack, so like I mentioned earlier, initially I was planning on doing these kind of build sessions bi-weekly, so once every other week. Because I realized, and sort of to Brielle's question from before, I wanted to be able to have more dedicated time to really dive deep, have a longer amount of time, but probably less frequently, not just probably, less frequently. I'm now going to have these 2 formats where there'll be a monthly build and share session, and that'll be focused on these like in and out builds. We'll probably build around a theme, like there'll be a theme of some sort that we'll build towards. And then separately, there'll be standalone workshops that'll be scheduled kind of on an ad hoc basis. And that's where we'll have more time and dive deeper into technical skills or personal projects. I do want to make sure we create space for sort of those personal projects. I'm not exactly sure what this will look like yet. I have some ideas. This is a good plug that if you have ideas, if you're hearing me talk and you're thinking, oh, you know what, this would be really cool to do in the HART Studio, let me know and we can see. Like I said, I'm being pretty flexible about this. There's actually an interesting just kind of like marketing piece to this, and many of us are trying to do something like this on Substack, where I'm trying to balance between having clarity on like what is it that I'm really offering to you all, but also flexibility so that we can kind of move with what's happening, both for what we're interested in, also, my God, AI in general moving so fast. Okay, so I'm going to do my wrap up, and then we'll sign off and I'll share this out. Basically, yeah, many of us are already building these products, tools, services, workflows. Many of us are doing it alone. Many of us are doing it with each other on Substack, which is incredible. But there's something to be said about doing things in person and with another person. There's also just something to be said as part of that, like having a group of people that you can learn alongside with, get lost alongside with, because the goal of this is not to be perfect. It's to just learn by doing, learn by failing, and just learn by having fun with each other. That's what we're doing here in the HART Studio. And then the last thing I'll just say is, many of these how to use AI offerings, they focus on those technical details, like I mentioned before, completely separate from the human. They start with the definitions and the technical bones, and it's just like really easy to get lost. And on top of that, just feel like there's something wrong with you while you're doing it. You're just like, peace out. Don't do that. I mean, now I'm going to go off on there is an opportunity here for people who do not look like the people that have been doing all the technical work so far. Women, people of color, people from underrepresented backgrounds, some forms of neurodivergence. You could argue a lot of tech folks also have neurodivergence, but still, how much have those spaces really been built for those people? And now is a time where anybody, especially these folks who think differently and have different experiences than the norm in the mainstream dominant culture, can really shine. And just like, I think it's not even just about we need more representation, which is very important. But I really just think we are the people who are going to take AI to the next level, because we're just think differently, and we just imagine things differently, and we just talk to our AI differently. And so the HART Studio is a way to try to bring that together, bring us together, so we can not only just like multiply what we can do for what we can do by ourselves with the AI, but like with each other, learn, get new ideas, check each other, share with each other best practices, all of those things. So in the HART Studio, the point is to build this technical competence and psychological safety at the same time. Building with AI isn't just about how we direct the machine as robots. It's how we process information as a human, paying attention to what resonates with us and what doesn't, and then how we can use that to guide the AI to build the things that matter to us. And you don't have to have all the answers figured out before coming in. You can show up exactly as you are. So yeah, that is what I'm going to share in the post. That is how I want to set this up and build it together with you. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. These lives are just so much fun. I wish I could do them more. Hi, Anna. Thank you for joining. I'm actually just wrapping up, but the recording will be out there. Yeah, thank you for joining. Message me, subscribe, like just stay connected. I love connecting with all of you. I know so many of you that joined the chat. Thank you so much for spending the time with me here today. And I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Thank you.